Hello friends, welcome once again to the YouTube channel of Gradeup. I am Gourav Gupta and friends, today I'll be continuing. So we all will be continuing with where we have left yesterday. Okay, so as all of you might be knowing, or if you have attended previous session that was yesterday, so if you have attended that session, then in that session, we have seen the basic application of percentage equivalence of fractions. Okay, so today we have learned how to use these percentage equivalence of fractions just to make our calculations easier and faster. All right, now today I'm going to continue from there. Okay, so today we are going to have a look at the concept of percentage changes, and one of the shortcuts that we use. Okay, one of the shortcuts that we use for percentage equivalence of fractions, and one of the shortcuts that we use to find out net percentage change when we have successive percentage change. All right, so we'll look at these concepts today and their applications in some of the questions, again to make calculations shorter. All right, so first of all, let's have a quick recap as to what we have seen yesterday. All right, so these were the reciprocal to percentages that we have seen yesterday. All right. So those who have missed this lecture, please go through this lecture and do attend it. All right. Okay. Now, friends, these are other things that we have seen in yesterday's session. Okay. So these are certain other things that we have seen in yesterday's session. So basically the application of the percentage equivalence of fraction when we are talking about percentage increase and percentage decrease. Okay, so if we want to find out the final value, okay, so what I am doing is I'm just writing the percentage increase in terms of fractions. I'm also writing percentage decrease in terms of fractions. So in case you want to just have a just you want to get an idea as to what all these things are, you need to go back, look at yesterday's session, and then again attend this session. All right. Okay. Now let us continue from where we have left yesterday. So what we have seen yesterday is I converted all the percentages in fractions. Okay. So there were certain percentages like 16.67 for which I have a fractional equivalent. Okay. So 16.66 can be written as 1 by 6 of any number. All right. Similarly, a percentage like 14.28 is 1 by 7, 11.11 can be written as 1 by 9, and so on. Okay, so we have seen percentage equivalence of fractions where we can where we can convert percentages into fractions. Now, what if we have a percentage change which cannot be converted into a fraction? Definitely, every percentage can be converted into a fraction, but if a percentage cannot be converted into a convenient fraction, like yesterday's 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5, okay, so they were looking good. They were some simple fractions. Okay, now there may be cases, obviously, where those percentage equivalence of fractions may not be applicable. All right, so let's have a look at something like that. So let's say if I have a number, let's say x, and I want to increase this number by 10 percentage. Okay, so I can convert 10 percentage into its fractional equivalent. So 10 percentages percentage equivalent, sorry, fraction equivalent is 1 by 10. So I can say that the final value can be written as 1 plus 1 by 10 times the original value, which can further be written as 11 upon 10 into x. All right. Now, like I told yesterday as well, there is no hard and fast rule that you have to convert it in fractions. Now, why we are converting this in fractions? Just to make calculations look easy. This is our only aim. We want to make calculations easy. That is why we are writing them in fractions. Okay. Now, what if I'll write it in terms of decimals, and that is going to ease down my calculations. Okay, so these fractions can also be written in the form of decimals, and that might also reduce the amount of calculations that might also ease our calculations in some of the questions. Okay, so let's have a look a way in which we'll convert these fractions, we'll write these fractions in terms of decimals. Okay, so let's say I want to increase anything by 13%. Okay, now 13% doesn't have its fractional equivalent. Okay, so it will be x plus, I'll tell you each and every step. All right, so I want to increase x by 13%, so I'll write it as x plus 13% of x. All right, which further can be written as x plus 13 upon 100 x. All right, so if I want to leave it in fractions, I'll write it as 1 plus 13 upon 100 times x, and that further can be written as 113 upon 100 x. All right, so if this particular thing is helpful, I'll leave it in fractions. Otherwise, at this step, what I can do is 13 upon 100. 13 upon 100 is 0.13. 1 added to this number, it will become 1.13 times x. So x, when increased by 13%, can be written in two different ways, whichever is helpful for us. So one of the ways is in the terms of fractions, which is 113 upon 100x, and the second way is 1.13x. Okay, now in both cases you have to eliminate these intermediate steps. Okay, so you should be in a practice so that you'll be able to write the final value in a single step. All right, so let's take some more examples where I'll write the final value in terms of initial value, and this factor will not be a fraction, this will be a decimal. Okay, so x when increased by 27 percentage. All right, now I have to increase x by 27 percentage. So have a look at what change it will make, in the above calculation. Okay, so there will be a change here. So instead of 13, it will be 27. So it will look like 1 plus 27 upon 100 times the original value. So I have to increase it by 27%. So the multiplication factor here will be 27 upon 100, which is 0.27 plus 1, that is 1.27. Okay, so don't commit a mistake in this case. By whatever percentage you are increasing the number, divide it by 100. Okay, so 27 divided by 100, so I'll write p upon 100, and 1 will be added to it to generate this multiplication factor, which will be multiplied with the initial value. All right, okay, so I'll show you some more examples for the same. So if x is increased by, you have to practice this particular thing, you will be able to save plenty of time, I can bet on that. All right, so if x is increased by, let's say, 42 percentage, so final value can be written as 42 upon 100 is 0.42 plus 1, it will be 1.42 x. All right, again x when increased by, let's say, 63.2 percentage. All right, carefully, 63.2 divided by 100 will be 0.632. We'll add 1 to it. So 1.632x. All right, okay. Now, those who are attending this lecture, you may reply with these answers in the chat box. Okay, I'm doing the calculation with you. Okay, so if you have the answer, please write it in the chat box. It will increase the participation. All right, so let's say if I want to increase x by 71.28 percentage. All right, so the final value will be, I'll wait for 5 seconds. I'll wait for 5 seconds for the response from your side. If x is increased by 71.28 percentage, come on. Come on, Payal. Yes, I can see your charts. All right, so final answer will be 1.7128x. All right, so this will be the final value. Okay, now one more, be careful with this. X when increased by 268 percentage. This is an important one. x when increased by 268 percentage. Okay, now 268 divided by 100 will give you 2.68. 2.68 plus 1 will be 3.68 times the original value. All right, be careful with this. This is very important. So x when increased by 268%, the final value will be 3.68x. Okay, one more, be careful. X when increased by 8.2 percentage. Okay, this is important. 8.2 percentage. 8.2 divided by 100 will give you 0.082. 1 added to this, 1.082 times the original value. All right. So be careful while you calculate this multiplication factor. All right. Okay. Now, if we have a decrease, so let's have a look at some of the cases where we have a decrease. So x when decreased by 21 percentage. Okay. Now, instead of adding it to 1, we will subtract it from 1. Okay. So earlier I was writing 1 plus p upon 100 to generate the multiplication factor. Here in this case, I'll write 1 minus p upon 100. All right. So 21 upon 100 is 0.21. 1 minus 0.21 will be 0.79 times the original value. All right. Good, Payal. So I think you are responding a little late, but never mind. It's absolutely fine. Okay. So again, x when decreased by 29 percentage. Okay. So 1 minus 0.29, it will give you 0.71x. All right. Okay. Now, friends, one important thing. Focus. Okay, all of you. Now, in all these examples that I've just shown you, in all these examples, we have gone from initial value to the final value. Okay. So initial value was given, a percentage change in terms of increase or decrease was given, and we were calculating the final value. Okay, so in all these cases the initial value was given and we calculated the final value. Now let's have a look at the reverse process of this particular thing. Okay, so the reverse process, let's have a look at that. Now question says a number which is not known, after an increase of 42 percentage becomes x. So the final value is given. In this case, the final value is x, which was obtained when a number was increased by 42 percentage. Okay, now we have to find the initial value. Guys, focus on this thing. This will help you in the questions of profit and loss. So in my next lecture, in my next session, I'm going to take on profit and loss, and these particular things will make the concepts, the questions of profit and loss very, very easy. So there is no need to learn any formula when it comes to profit and loss. You will be able to directly relate cost price, selling price, and market price if you have a clarity of this particular concept that I'm teaching you right now. Okay, so learning this particular concept, understanding this particular concept will help you getting rid of all the formulas in profit and loss. Okay, so just look at the first example at the top of the screen. X when increased by 42 percentage, the final value became 1.42x. Okay, so I can say that if there is an increase of 42 percentage, and I want to go from initial value to the final value, then I'll use a factor of 1.42. An increase of 42 percentage will generate a factor of 1.42. All right, this is one thing that you need to have a clarity about. Okay, increase of 42 percentage will generate a factor of 1.42. Now, if I'm going from initial value to the final value, this factor will be multiplied, and if I'm going from final value to the initial value, this factor will be divided. Okay, so in this case, the initial value, if you want to obtain, will be x divided by 1.42. It's as simple as that. All right, am I clear? I'll take one more example. Again, I'll tell you what all things you need to take care about. Okay. So X when increased by 43 percentage. Okay. Now I'm not writing anything else. I'm not writing initial. I'm not writing final value. Understand that when there is an increase of 43 percentage, the factor that will be generated will be 1.43. Okay. 1.43. Now, if you go from initial to final, you will multiply this factor. If you go from final to initial, you will divide this factor. Okay. So if final value is given as X and you want to generate the initial value, it will be X divided by 1.43. All right. Taking on one more example, X when increased by 71.6 percentage. Okay. So wait. So initial value is not known. All right. So initial value is not known. So I'll just erase the initial value. So X is not known. So after an increase of 71.6 percentage, I'll obtain the final value as Y. So what will be the initial value? Y divided by the factor generated here will be 1.716. Okay, fine. One more example for the decrease. A number when decreased by 53 percentage, the final value is Y. Okay, we want to find out the initial value. Now slowly, carefully, there is a decrease of 53 percentage. There is a decrease of 53 percentage. So what factor will be generated? A decrease of 53 percentage. So as you can look at the above examples, the factor that will be generated will be less than 1. So a number when decreased by 53 percentage, factor will be 1 minus 0.53. The factor will be 0.47. Okay. So initial value will be Y divided by 0.47. All right. Now, guys, if you understand this particular thing, if you start applying this particular thing, it will make life very easy for all of you. Okay. Just look at this particular fact properly. All right. Okay. So this was one element, right? The application will be looking at it later on. The best application of these things will be there when you will start solving the questions of profit and loss. Okay. All right. Now let's have a look at one more thing. Fine. Let's move ahead. Okay. Now question says that a number X is increased by 10 percentage. Okay. So after an increase of 10%, I can say that the final value will be 1.1x. Okay. Fine. So there will be a factor of 1.1 that will be multiplied by the initial value to generate the final. Now further, this resulting value 1.1x is increased by, this particular value is increased by 20 percentage. Okay. So I can say that 20% increase will generate a factor of 1.2. Okay. Now 1.2, this factor will be now multiplied by the initial value, which is 1.1x in this case. So 1.1x, and this will be the final value 1.2 multiplied by 1.1x. So if I'll multiply them, I'll get the final value as 1.32 times the original value x. All right. Okay. Fine. Now this kind of increase which has happened one after the other is called a successive percentage change. Successive percentage change. All right. So what I've done is I have applied a change one after the other on the same value. All right. So initial value has started with x and the final value is 1.32x. So I can say that now from initial to the final value, the net percentage change is how much? Since there is a final factor, there is a net factor of 1.32. So I can say that the net percentage change is 32 percentage. All right. The net percentage change is 32 percentage in this case. Okay. Now let's have a look at one more example for the same. So let's say initial value is x increased by 30 percentage. and then increased by 40 percentage. Okay, so these are the two successive increases. So first of all, the change of an increase of 30% will generate a factor of 1.3, which will be multiplied by the initial value. Then increase of 40% will generate a factor of 1.4, which will be multiplied with 1.3 times x. All right. So this is the change. Now if I'll multiply 1.4 and 1.3, then I'll get 1.82 times x. Original value was x. The final value is 1.82x. The factor here is 1.82, and I can say that the net percentage change is 82 percentage increase. Earlier it was 32% increase. All right, fine. Okay. Now friends, this complete process of successive percentage change can be simplified, can be reduced. The efforts can be reduced by using a direct formula. Okay, so here our purpose is to find out the net percentage change when there is a successive percentage change happening. Okay, so let us have a look at a direct formula which can be used in order to reduce the efforts that we are putting in. Okay, so let's look at the change formula. Okay, now I can say that if a change of A% is followed by another change of B%. So first change is of A% and second change is of B%. First thing you have to be careful. I have mentioned change. I have not mentioned increase or decrease. Okay, I've mentioned change. So it may be an increase, it may be a decrease. Okay, so if a change of A% is followed by another change of B%, then the net percentage change can be calculated by using this formula: A plus B plus AB upon 100. All right, A plus B plus AB upon 100. Let's have a look at the practical application in one of the examples. So I'll take the previous calculations only. So if it is given that X increased by 10% and then increased by 20. Okay, now we have to find the final change. Okay, so one fact you need to take care about while applying this formula. The formula is A plus B plus AB upon 100, where A and B are the two changes. Okay, if A is an increase, if A is an increase, the value of A will be positive. If A is a decrease, its value will be negative. That will keep in this formula. All right, this is just one small thing that we need to take care about. Okay, so the formula A plus B plus AB upon 100, in this case, the value of A will be 10% increase. The value of B will be 20, and both the values are positive. If I'll feed these two values in the given formula, A plus B plus A into B divided by 100. So 10 plus 20 plus 200 upon 100, that is 2. So final value will be 32% increase. Now since the sign of 32 was positive, so I can say that it will be a net increase. Okay, let's look at it in one more formula, one more example. So X increased by 40% and then increased by 50%. Okay, 40% and 50%. So what I'll do is both A and B are plus 40 and plus 50 respectively. So 40 plus 50 plus 40 into 50 is 2000. Careful, 2000. 2000 upon 100 is 20. So 40 plus 50 plus 20 is 110 percentage increase. So there will be a net percentage increase of 110 percentage. All right. Okay. Now let's have a look at some more examples. So one by one. So if there is an increase of 20% followed by an increase of 30%. So the formula will be 20 plus 30 plus 20 into 30 is 600. 600 upon 100 is 6. So final value will be 56% increase. So there will be a net change of 56% increase, right? Next, 20% increase. Be careful, okay? 20% increase followed by 30% decrease. All right, so careful. A is plus 20 and B will be minus 30. All right, so A is plus 20 and B will be minus 30. So 20 minus 30 plus, I'm writing it completely, 20 into minus 30 upon 100. Okay, so it will become 20 minus 30, 20 minus 30 minus 6. Okay, so it will be minus 16%, or I can say that it will be a 16% decrease. Again, being careful with the signs. All right, okay, so it will be a 16% decrease. Have to be careful. Okay, right. Now let's take one more. A 20% decrease followed by 30% increase. I'll wait for 10-15 seconds. Let's see how many of you can get the correct answer. Let's see how many of you will give me a correct answer. So 20% decrease followed by a 30% increase. Okay, we just have to be careful with plus and minus signs. Substitute these values in the formula and we'll get the answer. Okay. All right, so let me do this. So 20% decrease, it is minus 20, 30% increase plus 30, then minus 20 into plus 30 will again be minus 600 upon 100. That will be minus 6. Pratik has given the answer. Good, Pratik. So it will be 30 minus 26, that is plus 4. So I can say that there will be a net change of 4%, but in this case, it will be a decrease. Sorry, it will be an increase. I'm sorry. So plus 4%, so 4% increase. Okay. Good, Mr. RP Singh. Wonderful. Your answer is also correct. Plus 4%. Now one more example. So let's see how many of you can give this one correct. So 20% decrease followed by 30% decrease. Now in this case, both are decreases. In this case, both of them are decreases. So again, 10 seconds. I want an answer. Pratik, RP Singh and Payal. Okay, so it is A will be minus 20 and B will be minus 30. Okay, I'll substitute them in the formula minus 20 minus 30. Now you have to be careful at this step now. Minus 20 into minus 30 will be plus 600. Plus 600 divided by 100 is plus 6. Okay, so minus 50 plus 6. Okay, so Pratik, your answer is correct, but RP Singh, this is one mistake that you have committed. Okay, at the third step, AB upon 100. So minus 20 into minus 30 will be plus 600. All right, so it will be minus 44. So the final or net percentage change will be 44%. Since I have a negative sign, it will be a decrease. All right, it will be a decrease. Fine. So friends, these are small things that we need to take care while taking on these calculations. Okay, so if we want to save time, we need to be careful with the basic things which are plus minus signs. All right, okay, now let's have a look at the application of this particular thing. Okay, so let's have a look at the application. So yesterday we have seen questions like one of the questions like this. Okay, now this is another variation of that question. Now question says that price of an article increased by 20% and consumption increased by 10%. So there is a change in price, there is a change in consumption. So we have to find out what will be the net change in the expenditure. So RP is saying that वो 10 seconds के चक्कर में गलत हो गया. So RP, we need to know how to perform in pressure scenario. Okay, so in exams this will be tested. Okay, so Abhishek has given answer for this one. Good, Abhishek. So if price is increased by 20% and consumption is increased by 10%. So let's have a look at in what scenario we can use that formula A plus B plus AB upon 100. Okay. Now here I know that price into consumption is expenditure. All right. Now the product of price and consumption is expenditure. Now wherever you have multiplication between any two terms, so you can say that a change in price and change in consumption. Change in price is 20% and change in consumption is 10%. Both are increases. Okay. So you can apply the formula of A plus B plus AB upon 100. Okay. So the net change in expenditure can be given by, if we'll apply the formula of A plus B plus AB upon 100 on these two values. Okay. Now this will be applicable wherever the parameters are getting multiplied. Okay, so the net change when calculated for price and consumption will give you the final or the net change in expenditure. So you can straightforward apply this formula. So 20 plus 10 plus 20 into 10 upon 100. So answer will be 32%. And since it's a positive sign, so the expenditure will increase by 32%. All right. Okay. So we can say that the resultant of price and consumption, will give you the percentage change in expenditure. All right. Okay. Now let's apply a similar thing in the next question. So read this question carefully. The price increased by 20%. What should be the change in consumption? What should be the change in consumption so that expenditure increases by 30%? So now they have given a change in price. They're asking us to calculate the change in consumption and they have given the net change in the expenditure. All right. So I'll use the same formula. So it is price into consumption equals expenditure. So the price has increased by 20%. I'll assume that the change in consumption is X percentage. Okay. And the net change is given to me as 30% increase. So I can say that resultant of these two will be equal to 30%. So I'll apply the formula 20 plus X plus 20X upon 100 and that I'll equate it to plus 30. Be careful with the signs in all these questions. Simplifying this part, this will become 1.2x and that will be equal to 20 taken to the right hand side 10. So x will be equal to 100 upon 12. All right. X will be equal to 100 upon 12. Now friends, if you remember from the last class, if you remember the percentage equivalent for 1 by 12. So 1 by 12's percentage equivalent is 8.33 percentage. All right, 8.33 percentage. Okay. Now, generally we waste 5 to 10 seconds in this calculation. Yaar 100 upon 12 kya hoga? Okay. So if you remember this, Abhishek find 25 upon 3. But Abhishek, generally we have such numbers in the options. So 25 upon 3 will not be there. 8.33 will be there in the options. Though you can calculate, you can reach to 25 upon 3 and then 8.33 in 5 to 6 seconds. But I am asking you to even save these 5 to 6 seconds. Okay. So this is what I have covered in yesterday's lecture. Okay. So 100 upon 12 is 8.33%. Since the value of X is positive, so it's an increase. So I can say that the change in consumption here is 8.33 percentage. All right. Am I clear? Okay. Now let's have a look at this application in one more example. The radius of a circle increased by 20%. What will be the percentage change in its area? Now, area of a circle, I hope all of you must be knowing the formula pi r square. Now, pi is a constant. So obviously the value of pi will never change. Okay. So if I'm increasing the radius of the circle, we have to see the effect on the area. So I can say area is pi r into r. So again, r and r are getting multiplied. There is an increase of 20% here. All of you may calculate the answer and post it in the comment section. So r increased by 20%. Okay. So I can say that the change in area will be the resultant of these two numbers. All right. So it will be 20 plus 20 plus 20 into 20, that is 400 upon 100, which is 4. So final answer will be 44 percentage increase. So the net change in area of this circle will be 44% increase. All right. Finally, one more example. Okay. This is just an extension of whatever we are doing up till this point. Okay. So the radius of a cylinder increased by 20% and height increased by 10%. What will be the percentage change in the volume of this cylinder? So those who don't know the formula for the volume of cylinder, I'll help them. So volume of cylinder is pi r square h. Okay. So volume of the cylinder is pi r square h. All right. So I'll wait for 20 seconds in this case. So RP, I'll not put a pressure on you, a lot of pressure. So I'll wait for 20 seconds and let's see how many of you can give a correct answer. All right. All right. So Vikram, wonderful. First one to get the answer. Lovely. Okay. So volume can be written as, I'm going very slow. I'm giving you enough time to get the answer, pi r into h. Okay, radius increased by 20%. So 20% increase in both these cases, and height increased by 10%. All right. Now we have a formula using which we can find the net percentage change when there are two changes. Okay. So what we need to do in this case, there is no formula when there are three changes. So we have to apply the same formula step by step. Okay. So first of all, I'll be combining these two. So I'll be finding the net percentage change here. So as we all know, this will be 44 percentage increase, and then I'll combine it with 10 percentage increase. Now 44 and 10 when combined, 44 plus 10 plus 44 into 10 is 440 upon 100 is 4.4. All right. So 44 plus 10 is 54. 54 plus 4 is 58.4 percentage increase. So this will be the net percentage increase in the volume of the cylinder. And a wonderful response from Vikram, RP and VM. Great. Thank you very much. All right. So friends, this is the application of net percentage change, the formula that we have in case of successive percentage changes. Okay. Now just remember all these things that we have covered today. Remember the concept of the percentage change going from initial to the final value and then coming back from final value to the initial value. Okay. In my next session of profit and loss, I'll teach you how to basically make things easy when you have questions of profit and loss in front of you. So there are some basic ways using which we can save plenty of time while dealing with these questions, and there is no need to there is no need to learn even a single formula which is there for the relationship between cost price, selling price and market price. Okay, I'll not give you any formula. I'll just use the concepts that I've told you today, and the things will become easy in the next lecture of profit and loss. All right. So that's all friends from my side. If you like this session, please do press the like button, do comment, share and subscribe this channel. All right. Now this is the schedule that we run on YouTube, schedule of free sessions. So you may note down this schedule. Now friends, you must be seeing in the comments. Okay. So There is a place where you can get all the free lectures at one place. Okay, you don't have to search for different topics over YouTube and any other platform. All right, so in the description of this video, you will get a link which will take you to a sheet which has all the topics available with their YouTube links. Okay, so you can just avail this particular thing. The different courses that we offer. So on the left hand side of the screen, there is a batch which we have launched at Gradeup. Okay, on 4th of August. This is for all the aspirants for CAT next year, CAT 22. All right, so this is a complete course and you may join this batch. The details of all the experts who will be taking this batch is given on the left side box. On the right hand side, you'll see there is a batch for the aspirants who are targeting SNAP, NARSI Munji, CMAT and TISNET examination. Okay, so the detail of the batch is given on the right hand side of the screen. Now this is for all the students who are looking for CAT 2021. This is a percentile booster course. Okay, and the entire detail is there on the screen. Thank you, Payal. Thank you very much. Thank you, VM. Thank you, RP, for the comments. Okay, so friends, this is the list of experts that we have on our panel. So on an average, we have more than 15 years of experience among us. Some of the super subscription plans that we offer for CAT 21, CAT 22 and other MBA examinations. So the complete details are there in front of you on the screens about the examinations which are covered, the validity of these programs and the inclusions in these programs. So that's all from my side, friends. Thank you, Payal, VM, RP and Vikram for attending this lecture and being so communicative. So you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and join us on Telegram. Do subscribe us on YouTube. Have a good day, friends. We'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.